NFL, one of the most debated picks of the draft was the Cardinals taking running back Jeremiyah Love at number 3 overall. So he gets 4 years, $52.5 fully guaranteed $1 million. And that got our Peter Schrager asking Love's new head coach this question.
I'm not sure if you watch a lot of Get Up and NFL Live, but we had many debates about the value of taking a running back 3rd overall with the value in free agency and, of course, the salary cap. Did those conversations come up at all as far as the position and the value you can get with other positions that are at premium prices?
Yeah, we had those conversations, but, like I said, we wanted to take who we thought was the best player at that spot, and it was a consensus for us to take this guy because, again, we know the player, and then you pair that with the person, and the position really didn't matter to us at that point.
First off, that's a good job getting the show in there. I like that a lot.
Peter Schrager.
I like that a lot. That really is the question, because do you take the best player available in the draft, which I believe almost everyone at that point thought he was, regardless of the fact that he plays the position that A, probably isn't going to help you win games quickly, and B, doesn't make sense from a financial, salary allotment. What did you think of it, Dan?
Cardinals did the right thing. In 2021, the NFL cap space was $183 million. In 2026, it will be $301. If Jeremiyah Love is the player that the Cardinals and many of us expect him to be, by the end of his rookie contract, that will be an enormous bargain with the way that the cap space is going. Enormous bargain. 5 years, that's a 65% increase in 5 years in NFL cap space. If he's the guy that they expect him to be, he will be an enormous bargain.
You like it or didn't like it, D. Wood?
It's not the way to build a team. It's just not. Here's the Cardinals running back room. Ty last year that they paid from the Atlanta Falcons.
Right.
James Conner is coming back from injury. They drafted Trey Benson in the 3rd round in 2024. And now you add Jeremiyah Love to a already kind of stacked up running back room.
$25 million already paid to the running back position before the draft.
How do you build it? Does this make the Cardinals get them any closer in the NFC West?
Let me ask you this. In 2 weeks or 3 weeks when the NFL drops its season and the schedule release, were you caring about what the Cardinals' first couple games
Should that
were?
matter, Dan?
When you're the Cardinals, and we're not talking about just a name because he played running back at Notre Dame. We're talking about a guy who's a very good player and should be a very good pro. So, no, it shouldn't be the most important thing that matters, but it should be a thing that for the Cardinals, you're sitting there going, we finally have a person that at least brings some notoriety to us, just like Travis Hunter did to the Jaguars last year when they.
I will say this in defense of the Cardinals. He's the first player that gives them some notoriety since Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
Like they've literally figuratively
or Kyler
Murray.
Yes, they've been out in the desert.
Yeah.
Like they've been out in the desert. They at least have someone now that, okay, now let me tune in to watch this guy.
It's interesting though. The Jaguars turned everything around and got almost nothing out of Travis Hunter.
But we were talking about him. We were
I understand that,
in
but we're talking about him stops when the season starts.
Yeah,
I hear what you're saying.
I would say this. It's also opportunity cost. So speaking of people around the league, the reason you can justify Jeremiyah Love 3rd in the 2026 draft is because you didn't pass on Orlando Pace or Jonathan Ogden, or you didn't pass on Myles Garrett or Aiden Hutchinson. Now that the draft is over, I can call it like it is. We were talking about it, and candidly, we were promoting it. There wasn't that blue chip superstar future Hall of Famer in this draft besides Jeremiyah Love. So as much as Arvell Reese and David Bailey might end up being great pros, as prospects, they weren't in that conversation. So the opportunity cost, you're not missing on one of these once-in-a-generation players at a different position.
And we've had the conversation in regards to Love in the Cardinals, so much black and white in the vacuum. That's not this situation. The Cardinals are not building for a championship football team. The Cardinals are just trying to acquire. They have 2 players on their team who make more than $10 million a year. 2. They're just trying to acquire as much talent as possible. And hopefully 2 or 3 years from now, they've established that. So then we can start maybe trying to build a legitimate team that can go on a championship run, but we're not talking about.
But don't they say the counter argument? I understand what you're saying. I'm not even sure I disagree. But the obvious counter argument, beyond the salary piece of it, is don't you build teams from front to
Inside
back?
out.
100%.
So
100%.
So I mean, no
Tried and true.
offensive linemen went for a while. There were defensive linemen. There were defensive players. I mean, the question is, if the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, is that first step a running back? That's really the question.
No, but if that first step is an A player and the other position that we think is more important and is a more important when it comes to the building is a B player or a C plus player, you take the A player.
I just worry we'll see a repeat of Ashton Johnson.
That's fair. I would also add this. Last year in free agency, just to look at, if you're viewing at home, being like, of course you take Jeremiyah Love. Kenneth Walker was the Super Bowl MVP and got paid $14 million in free agency. Alec Pierce has done relatively nothing in his career and made twice as much as a wide receiver. So if you're looking at value, you take those positions, tackle, wide receiver, corner, over running back where, by the way, Isaiah Pacheco can go to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row as a 7th-round pick.
All right, coming up, we have another receiver to talk about. Going back to Thursday, turned everyone's head by choosing Ty Simpson 13 overall. Pick made even bigger headlines when Sean McVay appeared, let's put it this way, unenthusiastic while discussing the decision with the media. Saturday, McVay was on with Schrager and Kyle Brandt here on ESPN and made it clear the quarterback was not the reason for his demeanor.
I would have been stoic by nature anyways, just based on the respect for Matthew, because it's a unique situation. You get a chance to be able to, take a player that you like at a really important position, but you don't want it to be minimized or misunderstood in terms of what this means in terms of our investment and our commitment to Matthew for as long as he wants to continue to play. And so you're kind of teetering that line. And clearly, I came off a little grumpier than normal.
What did you take away from that conversation?
That this is a Sean McVay decision. Make no doubts about it. Any decision in that organization is going to be signed off by McVay. But any question Thursday night that he went, Les Snead went rogue is now looked at as silly. And he had to do that and take his man because of the way they look at the future of this team. Stafford, to them, they'd love for him to stay there 3-4 years, whatever. But he is year to year, and looking at his age and the fact it's a final season maybe with the LA Super Bowl if it all goes that way, they don't envision themselves ever having a top 5 pick. So we're talking about the Jets and being in the Arch Manning sweepstakes. The Rams don't see that. They also looked at the free agent landscape for the next couple of years. They don't see a big name. So they said at 13th overall, I know Lemon's on the board, I know Sadiq's on the board, we're going to take a quarterback and ensure that we have a handoff plan once Stafford does call it quits. I'll add this. If they had traded the 13th overall pick and got Trent McDuffie at 13 and taken Ty Simpson with the 29th pick, I don't think there would be this brouhaha. Instead, they got McDuffie in the trade and they took Simpson where they could.
Great point.
They're happy with it. It's a long-term plan.
So, Dan, we know how much you like the player, but did you like the pick based upon who made it?
Absolutely. I think this is the right decision for a well-run organization. Everyone who's saying the Rams should have taken wide receiver, okay? The average rookie wide receiver right now over the last 10 years in the first round comes in, gives you 52 catches and 4 touchdowns. If you think the Rams are 52 catches and 4 touchdowns away from a wide receiver from going to the Super Bowl and winning it, you're out of your mind. To pass on a quarterback at that position that they really like in the future to get 52 and 4 is not going to be the difference making of a Super Bowl. You're replacing the quarterback position for one of 2 reasons, performance or age. No matter what organization, either the performance isn't good enough or the age is too old. The Rams are in a situation where the age is getting there, but the performance doesn't match. And that's why they're trying to thread the needle. This is a threading of the needle. It's a rare situation where you're trying to do both timelines the right way, essentially at the same time. And you just got to trust an organization that, God bless, has done it right for like 8 years now at a pretty high level. D-Wood, you were telling me this morning some of the players in that locker room might not see it that way.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if I'm a veteran guy, it's like, this guy's not helping me in 2026. I think to a man, all of us at the table believe that the Rams are, if not the favorite, one of the favorite teams to win the Super Bowl. And you just sitting there like, this guy's not going to play. He's just not going to play. I understand. Listen, I understand the whole premise that we're not going to be, more than likely, we're not going to pick anywhere near the position that we're at. But as a veteran, I'm not concerned about 2027.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm not concerned about any of that. I want guys that can help me right now win a Super Bowl.
The only thing, could you close your eyes right now? Fast forward, Rams hosting the Super Bowl essentially in LA because it's in LA, win, and Matthew retires, then all of a sudden you're sitting there going, well, what do we do now? We have the 32nd pick.
Yeah.
We're nowhere near getting another quarterback that's good enough to run this offense. Then all of a sudden you become a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers.
To Damien's point, I could see Kenyon Sadiq catching 7 passes for 94 yards in the Super Bowl and being a hero. I can't see Ty Simpson doing that.
I agree, but I could also see
That would be a story.
Jordan Whittington do it.
Treatment trying to.
I can see them trading in November for a receiver that's on the market for a team that's not playing well.
For sure.
And all of a sudden, there was never going to be the perfect position or perfect selection for everybody. I understand the veteran thing. They're not running the team. Les Snead is. So you got to trust your general manager that's put you in the situation.
We've seen this go sideways in the past a lot. I'm old enough to remember when the Denver Broncos drafted John Elway's heir apparent once upon a time.
Tommy Maddox.
And it created a rift between Elway and Reeves that really caused an enormous change in that.
Out of UCLA.
And Elway was extremely upset about it because he was like, I'm trying to win the darn thing right now. So I see both sides of it. I mean, honestly, I see both sides of it. The proof will be in the pudding. They could still be the best team this year. They could still wind up winning it. And there's no guarantee who they were going to take in the first round was going to be the difference. But I could see wanting to take someone at 13 that might help you. If in the long run, Ty Simpson becomes the quarterback of this team for a decade, then that would be the answer.
And that's the truth. And they really, they liked him. And then they started to fall in love with him over the film. And they were like, we actually see it here. The issue is, and Daniel Jeremiah made this point on the broadcast over at NFL Network, I saw it. He said he hasn't played a ton in 5 seasons at Alabama, and he's not going to play a ton the first season with the Los Angeles Rams. So you're talking 15 games over 6 seasons of football.
Yeah.
Not a lot of football.
Yeah, that's a separate question. So it's the pick, and then it's the player.